I'm Jake, you're watching Gas Guzzlers, and we finally got a new Ranger, and of course, it has a Raptor variant. But is Ford just slapping the Raptor name on everything now? Does that risk cheapening the brand? I mean, what's next, a Raptor Maverick? I think you're gonna find that Ford is not cheapening the Raptor brand, and this is well deserving of the Raptor name. Let's get into it. Now, I wanna start by saying that Ranger still maintains a fully boxed frame. What's that mean? It's not a unibody vehicle like some mid-size pickup trucks like the Honda Ridgeline, which are unibody. This is there's a frame and the truck body is placed on top of it. That means it's gonna feel a lot more like a truck rather than an SUV. And that fully boxed frame has been reinforced for the Raptor so you can take true big jumps in it. Speaking of jumps and such, you have a 33-degree approach angle, about 10.7 inches of ground clearance. That's going to keep it in range with competitors like the Gladiator Mojave and the Chevy Colorado ZR2. We have our high performance LEDs here, and of course, it's not a Raptor without Ford emblazoned across the front of the vehicle. Now let's talk about the suspension setup, because the suspension is one of the most important parts of a Raptor. It's what makes a Raptor a Raptor. We have 2.5-inch Fox internal bypass shocks. Well, they're using coilovers in the front and they're using piggyback reservoirs in the rear. What does that mean? Piggyback reservoir is gonna let you add more almost fluid to the shock. It's gonna let the fluid expand as it heats up from all those quick compressions. That means you can take the Raptor, you can go hard all day long going over lots of bumps, heating up those shocks, and it's still gonna maintain the same performance characteristics throughout the day and be able to take jump after jump after jump. In addition, the suspension is of course adjustable from in the vehicle. So if you want a comfortable ride, you can do that. You can tighten things up a little. It's all done through the performance modes of the Raptor. Now let's talk about the tires, because those are also an important part of a Raptor. We have 33-inch BF Goodrich tires. Those are on 17-inch wheels. Now you can get beadlock wheels on the Ranger Raptor. What's that mean? Well, it means the wheel and the tire will actually interconnect and hold on to each other. That means you can reduce the pressure in your tire. That's going to give you better traction in ultra low traction situations, like say you're rock crawling or you're in the sand. It can be really useful to let out the pressure, and that beadlock will make sure that you can let out a lot of tire pressure and the tire's still going to stay attached to the wheel. We have this hot pepper red right here. I think this looks awesome. And of course, your step right here is also going to guard the underbody of the vehicle. We have zone lighting too. So there are lights around the vehicle, and from the interior, you can control them. So if you're out camping with your buddies and you want to light up the left side of the truck using these lights, you can do that. Ranger Raptor has a towing capacity of about 5,500 pounds and a rough payload capacity of about 1,400 pounds. When you're towing, you can now get Pro Trailer Backup Assist on the Ranger. The vehicle is going to coach you when you're backing up your trailer. It's going to tell you what to do and help you back up your trailer into the spot and keep your trailer straight. That's a very useful feature. Backing up trailers is very difficult. Pulling down our tailgate here, no fancy tailgate gimmicks. Mid-size trucks haven't gotten the cool tailgate gimmicks that full-size trucks have, whether it's the Ford F-150 with its cool step, GMC with its baby tailgate in a tailgate, or any of the stuff Ram is doing with the barn doors. Hasn't made it to mid-size trucks yet, and I hope it does, because they're fun, but they're also kind of useful, especially the steps. We do have two power outlets back here. One is a cigarette lighter style, the other is a full-size traditional outlet. Under the hood of the Ranger Raptor, we're going to find a 3-liter V6 EcoBoost engine. No V8s for the Raptors anymore, just V6s, but you will be plenty satisfied, I'm sure, with 405 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque. You got a 2-speed transfer case, front and rear locking differentials for improved off-road traction. This is a twin turbo system, and it has an anti-lag system. So for those of you who don't know, turbo lag is kind of a function where turbos need exhaust gas pushing through them to spin them up and to get air cramming into the engine. That's a turbo's job, to get lots of air, shove it into the engine. The problem is when you let your foot off the gas, that turbo starts to slow down. It stops shoving air into the engine, and when you put your foot back on the gas, it's got to rev up again to make you go quick. Here's what Ford's done to fix that. They will keep the turbo spinning artificially for 3 seconds after you take your foot off the gas. What's that going to do? It means if you put your foot back on the gas within those 3 seconds, you're going to have all that power in the turbos already shoving air into the engine, making you go faster. There is no turbo lag then. So imagine you're going into a corner, you let your foot off the gas, and when you're coming out of the corner, instead of having that turbo lag, the turbos are already spun up, so you just go off to the races. That is a cool system. Anti-lag systems are things you used to see in high-end sports cars. It is so cool that they are now in mid-size pickup trucks. Now let's talk about the interior of the Ranger Raptor. The first thing that's going to catch your eyes is probably the bright orange Raptor accents around the interior. You are not mistaken that you are in an off-road performance vehicle, especially with this special sport steering wheel. I love the thickness of the steering wheel. General Motors does these thin, terrible steering wheels, but Ford has a good, chunky truck steering wheel. I like to see that, Ford. Keep it up. Also, something that has been enlarged in the Ranger Raptors here is your infotainment display. It is now a full Tesla-esque 12-inch display, and it is incredible. And it does what Volvo displays do, which I really like, where the Apple CarPlay is displayed in an iPad-like fashion. So it makes your Apple CarPlay look ridiculously great. I'm very happy to see this new large screen in the Ranger Raptor. I think they could have done a little more to make the interior look a little more visually interesting, right? I would have liked to have seen some more tactile elements across the dash, maybe a little more design. There's just a lot of flat surfaces and panels in here. I think for the amount you're paying, Ford could have gone a little bit further than just the crazy colors. But still, this is the mid-size truck market we're talking about. A year ago, we never would have imagined we'd be seeing interiors like this, but all of the mid-size truck makers have just upped their game so much, Ford included among them. We do have these auxiliary switches right here. These are really cool. So if you want to modify your Raptor, let's say you want to put a light bar on it, you put the light bar on. How are you going to turn the light bar on and off? Well, in the olden days, you had to get some non-OEM third-party button and just like screw it onto the dash. It would look bad. Now that Ford just has the wiring all ready to go, you just hook it up to this auxiliary switch right here, and you have an OEM-esque button to turn on and off those different elements. Some other interior elements worth mentioning here are the fully digital gauge cluster. Ford does a really nice job with their full digital gauge clusters. I think they strike everything right when it comes to balancing complexity and also just kind of ease of use. I think they do a really good job with these displays. They've been doing them in F-150 for a while. It's nice to see it come over to the Raptor. We have a heated driver's seat here with memory function, and there's some extra bolstering here in the Raptor to kind of keep you in your seat as you're going around town. Love to see that. The seat's actually pretty comfy. They have a good amount of padding on it, and we have these magnesium alloy paddles right here. The days of crappy plastic paddles are gone. Thank you. Finally, brands are saying, okay, if we're going to put paddles in, we're going to make them out of nice material. Since you're touching them all the time, that makes a lot of sense. Ford, good choice with the materials here. Here in the back of the Ranger Raptor, you have pretty big windows, but it still feels really dark in here. I don't know, something about the roofline and the colors in here just makes it feel very dark and sort of cramped in here. Even though, you know, I have plenty of leg space back here. You could definitely fit 4 6-foot-tall adults back here. You do have good charging amenities back here. You do have a full-size outlet. In addition, you have a USB A and C. I would like to see some more air vents back here to keep the people in the rear nice and cool when you're out there in the desert. And then in the center, we do have 2 cup holders. Add a few more air vents back here, and I think you are riding cozy. Want to check out the Ranger Raptor or its big brother, the F-150 Raptor R? You got to check out the DC Auto Show. It's here until January 28th, 2024. I'll be here. If you see me, say hello. Come see all of the cool cars, trucks. There's even a Cyber truck here. Check it out at the DC Auto Show. And if you're liking the video, be sure to like and subscribe to Gas Guzzlers for more weekly automotive content. All right, folks, let's get back into it. So what's this all going to cost you? How about $55,500? That's actually a bit cheaper than I was expecting given the price of cars these days, and you're getting a very capable off-road truck. Guys, let me know, what would you pay for this truck? Do you think it's worth $55,500? Let me know what you think. Is Ford cheapening the Raptor name? I certainly don't think so. I'm Jake, you're watching Gas Guzzlers. We'll see you in next week's video. Be sure to check out the DC Auto Show. It's here until January 28th, 2024. Take care, folks.